Hey guys, Bubba here at the Bubbanews. All in one word, all in one news. Oh man, it's Friday already. How are you guys doing tonight? It's June 20th, and we're going to be talking about the heat is on. This is starting to really ramp up, and we're going to get to some videos and pictures talking about all the aircraft movements that are still going on, heading for Diego Garcia, heading for Europe. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. The heat is on. We're going to be talking about Israel and everything that's going on. All kinds of crazy stuff is happening, so let's get right to it. You know, we started off today with God is in control. I love this picture. Have you guys ever seen the Milky Way? Oh man, it's so cool. Yeah, we've got too much light pollution where I live, but if you guys have a chance, get out in the middle of nowhere and check it out this year before we go home. But, you know, we're going to be visiting the stars very soon, so... Speaking of visiting, this got interesting today because just east of Tehran, they had a 5.1 earthquake. So that was really interesting. So everyone's looking for the signs that they might be doing a nuclear test. So we'll have to keep an eye, see what's going on. And this is about this 6.2 miles there at the bottom is about probably the location that it would register. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But we kept going today with Psalm 16, verse 8. I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall never be shaken. Guys, if you have the Lord Jesus Christ right before you, you should have no fear. Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. We have the Creator making us a new creation in him. It's so exciting. So exciting. But yeah, let's get to Bible prophecy with what's going on, because this came out today and talking about serious consequences if Iran's Bushehr nuclear site is attacked, the UN said. In case of an attack on the Bushehr power plant, a direct hit could result in a very high release of radioactivity to the environment. This is the IAEA chief, Rafael Grossi, today. He told the United Nations Security Council that an Israeli strike on Iran's Bushehr nuclear plant would cause a nuclear disaster.
Countries of the region have reached out directly to me over the past few hours to express their concerns, and I want to make it absolutely and completely clear. In case of an attack on the Bushehr nuclear power plant, a direct hit would result in a very high release of radioactivity to the environment. Countries of the region have reached out.
He knows what's going on, and we're going to talk about some of these studies that they've done, and it is not good. You know what else is not good? Hezbollah. Earlier today, the IDF conducted another wave of airstrikes targeting Hezbollah military sites containing rocket and missile launchers, as well as weapon storage facilities in southern Lebanon. The Israeli army said that Hezbollah is trying to restore its military assets and blatantly violating the terms of the Lebanon ceasefire. Make no mistake, guys, Hezbollah is not done. But neither is Israel. We're going to keep an eye on Hezbollah because they are going to do an incursion into Israel's northern border in the days to come, I believe. As well as from Jordan, from the PMF, the Iraqi proxies that want to march right in. And this gets crazy town prophetic because of Assyria next door. But yeah, we were talking about the Bushehr nuclear plant. Well, it's on the Persian Gulf, right? So we'll scroll in here a little bit. But there have been hundreds of simulated reactor leaks of the Bushehr power plant. And they've done 15 complete studies. Check this out. They all come up with the exact same story. Every country on this map, circled in red, could run out of potable water or drinking water in 7 to 10 days because of the radiation. And up to 90 to 94% of the population could pass away due to radiation poisoning, depending on the wind patterns. A humanitarian crisis is still coming, along with a global dispersion. I mean, this is all prophesied right there. In Jeremiah 49, verse 36, it says, "There will be no nation to which the outcasts of Elam will not go." That whole area is where it says Iran, right there, past the red arrow, and just past the spot there where it says spot depths and meters at the very tippy top. All of Elam. And that's going to march across the Persian Gulf. And that's going to get nutty, Professor. But it's all part of the Jeremiah 49 verses 34 to 39 prophecy. Ay, ay, ay. But speaking of Iran, earlier today, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, there on the left, he ordered to intensify strikes on the regime targets in Tehran following a situational assessment with his top military officials. It's being reported that Israel will attack the Fordow nuclear site on its own if the United States decides not to strike. And Trump may have given Iran up to 2 weeks, but Israel's not going to wait that long. And here's something else. 2 weeks that Trump made in the announcement yesterday. 2 weeks from today is July 3rd, July 4th weekend. Big things are coming up. And they're talking about, I just saw Matt there from Shepherd for the King there on Twitter and Live by Faith Ministries. But he's talking about, and he's showcasing how that No Kings protest, well, they're going to do a 2.0 on July 4th weekend. So they want this protest to be even bigger. And once the United States joins this war, there's going to be even more protest. And we're going to have possibly a societal breakdown. Just something to keep an eye on, y'all. And I'm surprised that the fuel prices haven't gone up yet at the pump. I expect them to start going up next Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe. But that's neither here nor there. But my point being is Israel plans to attack the fortified nuclear facility at Fordow without assistance from other countries. In fact, other countries and other options, I guess, have been prepared. And Netanyahu said that he's going to have to decide which option to implement in the coming days. Oh, boy. But you know what? The U.S. Navy now has 5 guided missile destroyers in the Eastern Mediterranean. This is a significant increase, as earlier this week, the U.S. had just 1 in the Eastern Mediterranean. But these 5 warships in the Eastern Mediterranean are helping to intercept incoming missiles from Iran. And following Israel's attack on Iran, the U.S. had 2 positioned in the Eastern Mediterranean off the coast of Israel, which helped to protect Israel by shooting down incoming missiles from Iran. So, you know, we've got the boats off there. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit, too, with the Suez and those in the Arabian Sea. But here's basically an updated map from Israel Radar he put up earlier today. And this is their key Iranian nuclear sites. And all were bombed by Israel except for Fordow in the blue. And the IDF plans to attack more targets linked to Iran's nuclear project in the coming days. And the IDF senior officials, they believe that the cumulative impact of Israel's strikes will gravely harm the entire chain of production in their nuclear program. And they're getting there. They really are, Israel is. But they still need to get to Fordow and get it done. And they need the big boys from the United States, the massive ordnance penetrators. But check this out. This is wild. I'm going to switch to a video here. This was moments today. Earlier, I didn't catch the rocket attack earlier today. I was sleeping in. I needed to sleep. But earlier today, Israel's Iron Dome intercepted an Iranian ballistic missile. This is a very rare event, as the Iron Dome is designed for mainly smaller rockets and drones. This is pretty wild. Watch down at the bottom and watch how they're going to meet here. Those 2 coming up from the bottom. Boom. That's pretty impressive because the Iron Dome is Israel's last line of defense, basically, against these rockets. And for it to take out a ballistic missile, God is protecting Israel still. There's no doubt about that. Well, and you know, the U.S. markets closed today at 4:15 Eastern, and everyone was wondering if Trump was going to order the strike. Well, you know, when rockets start flying, everyone was looking for the attack to come this evening, and so far it hasn't. And Trump is giving out a specialized briefing to members of Congress on Tuesday, so he still may wait until this next week, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But Israel's going to be getting really itchy fingers. And the longer that Trump waits, and the more missiles that Iran fires, more drones, the more interceptors and Arrow 3 and 2 and THAAD missiles that Israel's going to use up. So they could be in trouble. Just for an example, in the past 24 hours, the Israeli air defense and air control systems, together with the Air Force fighter jets there of Israel, they even used their Apache helicopters. Well, they intercepted more than 15 unmanned aerial vehicles or drones launched from Iran into Israel.
אנחנו רואים את המטרה, אנחנו נכנסים עליו לביצוע. חיובי, אני נכנס לביצוע עם תותח. חוקי שריים, מיד נכנסים. זה מאוד. אנחנו רואים...
Man down. Got another one.
Okay.
I like the first video better because it was the night vision instead of watching Grandma's black and white TV. Oh, this one was funny. Trump today, he was asked about his intelligence. Trump said that my intelligence community is wrong. But here's the thing. No matter how you slice what I'm getting ready to play, there's a big problem here. Tulsi Gabbard has to go. Because Trump must have a set of reports from one intelligence agency that is a complete contradiction to whatever Tulsi Gabbard has been given in the presidential daily briefs. I mean, this is a CENTCOM analyst scandal 2.0 on steroids. Tulsi Gabbard is off message, and she's overly interested in her own promotion in a future presidential run. This is why she's so anti-war. Trump should have trusted his gut and nominated someone else. But anyway, here's what he said today.
Iran is building a nuclear weapon. Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
So you have that Iran is...
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She's wrong. There's still some animosity, I'm thinking, building up in the White House. Ever since Elon Musk left, there's been a lot of tension, it seems like. Oh, man. But you know what? The Israeli Air Force tonight, they were active against targeting IRGC targets in the Shiraz area. And this could be a very explosive weekend still coming up. I mean, for all we know, the Fordow nuclear enrichment plant shown here could become a future golf course. I mean, the USA can make this the Riviera of the Persian Gulf. Wants the B-2 stealth bombers level it up by digging down 300 feet. And Iran keeps threatening Israel, and the Israeli response to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's missile announcements, right there next to the lion, that says imminent or immediate. In other words, like, just wait. Our stuff inbound is immediate. But these drones keep coming in from Iran. And an Iranian drone was intercepted off the coast of Haifa earlier tonight. But check this out. This Iranian drone went through the airspace of Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon and tried hitting Israel from making a U-turn and coming in over the Mediterranean Sea. And the Haifa mayor said that the Iranian UAV was just intercepted over the city without triggering any alarms. And the UAV did not explode like a Shahed 136, so this Iranian drone was probably a bigger combat drone version, or a UCAV that drops guided bombs on its targets below. Check this out. This video is weird. See how it's split in two? That's not normal. I'm going to show you a better video here. This is definitely not normal. This is not a normal drone. Here it is. Something was different about this one. 1, 2, and then there comes the third down. That just doesn't make sense. They had something else going on there. But one thing is for certain, Israel has gotten a lot better in shooting down the drone technology that's been coming in. Because last year in 2024, they learned a lot from all the Hezbollah drones coming in, coming over Israel, recording in high definition the landscape and ground below for future attacks. They still have all that footage, and they're still planning for their attacks because Hezbollah still has 20 to 25,000 rockets. But this was probably the Iranian Shahed 149 above in the video that we just showed there. And look at all those rockets and stuff underneath it. Well, tonight, the United States presented Iran with the final offer for a nuclear deal. And the proposed deal requires Iran to end uranium enrichment, yeah, right, and significantly cut their long-range ballistic missile program. Well, they're going to run out of missiles. Israel estimates that the Iranian rejection of Trump's deal will lead to the United States to join the war. Turkey, Oman, Italy, and Norway have offered to host the U.S.-Iran talks, with U.S. officials open to direct negotiations, but Iran hasn't responded to Washington's latest proposal. And the USA is demanding that Iran abandon and dismantle most of its ballistic and cruise missile programs, halt uranium enrichment, and dismantle their nuclear infrastructure. Basically warning that otherwise there will be an intervention. And I threw this up on Telegram, but I said going to an AA meeting would be much safer than going to Iran right now. Speaking of interventions. But something's going on because this NOTAM came out for aerial refueling north of Hawaii on June 21st. Tomorrow. So this is suggesting that the B-2 bombers may be preparing for a mission. So we got to keep an eye on that. Oh, this is wild. This is the Prince Sultan Air Base there in Saudi Arabia. And it hosts the United States deployed F-22s, F-35s, F-16s, and other spy planes. It's 600 kilometers, basically, to the Bushehr nuclear power plant, or about 450 miles or less. And if the United States intervenes, the base is close enough to be targeted by pretty much, a lot of the Iranian cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and drone swarms. Because they have so many of these shorter range missiles that they're just waiting to use on the United States assets. And they do. They want to take out United States bases in the Middle East, kind of like a Pearl Harbor moment. Here's what I mean. The U.S. Air Force air deployment there, check this out. This was yesterday's picture at 4:21 p.m., but this is one of the bases where the U.S. would launch an attack on Iran from, along with the F-22s that are stationed there at the Salty Air Base in Jordan. So there's 22 KC-135 Stratotankers. There's 53 likely F-16s. There's 10 C-130s, and there's more fighter jets under the shelters, as more aircraft have arrived in the past 24 hours since this image was taken yesterday. But being less than 450 miles away from Iran, this location it's within the envelope of basically every type of missile that Iran has. This reminds me of the time that the United States put all their warships next to each other in Pearl Harbor back in December 1941, after doing everything to provoke Japan, and even having prior knowledge of the incoming kamikaze-style airplane attacks from Japan. This is in range of Iran's Fateh. It's the Fateh, Fatteh, and their Zulfiqar surface-to-surface ballistic missiles. They have hundreds of ballistic missiles, probably thousands, seriously, because they have a lot more of these short-range missiles. But seriously, even hundreds of ballistic missiles could rain down on this base alone in the entire Saudi oil infrastructure. This thing would be destroyed. But of course, the airplanes will be airborne. But they could just destroy their runway, so there's nowhere for them to land. It could get really squirrely. And this came out about 7:40 p.m. Eastern time tonight, because I said Tel Aviv was under the gun again. 5 to 10 missiles were fired at Israel. And the interceptors have been launched, and alerts were activated. But you know what? There's some wild footage coming out. And I posted the link down below. It's another YouTube channel if you guys get bored of Lookner. But this is a good backup of live streams that are covering Israel. Because it even shows, from the Dome of the Rock, Jerusalem. It's got some different camera angles than Steve Lookner has. So anyway, I'll throw that up in the description box below. But it's pretty cool as a good backup. But this one caught my eye earlier, too, because it looked like one was coming down and was actually going to get Israel. Nope. So, Israel still has a lot to come, that's for sure. But check this out. The IDF today, they conducted a wave of airstrikes in southern Iran that hit several ballistic missile sites and the 6th Tactical Air Base in Bushehr province, where Iran stores ballistic missiles. And the types of missiles that Israel used or targeted there on the ground are unclear. I mean, they could either be the short-range ballistic missiles, which could target the U.S. bases in the Gulf, or medium-range missiles, which could target Israel. But it's very possible that they were taking out those shorter-range missiles that could hit those bases that we just showed. I mean, an Israeli security official stated that the strikes did not target the Bushehr nuclear reactor. And I threw this up on Telegram because I said that will be the grand finale, in my opinion. But you know what? There's 5 warships there. I mean, They're currently in the Eastern Mediterranean, up from 1. There's now 5. This is in addition to 2 warships in the Gulf of Suez there, Suez Canal down there through the Red Sea, 4 warships in the Arabian Sea, 1 aircraft carrier right there in the Arabian Sea, and another aircraft carrier on the way. The Nimitz should be in theater here, I believe, in the next 24 hours, maybe 48 at the max, but it's cruising. But keep in mind, this is not including the United States and the Israeli submarines. I mean, it could get really nuts. But U.S. tankers continue to move across the west across the Pacific. So all eyes are on the Indo-Pacific theater. Over 8 U.S. Air Force tankers that recently landed in Hawaii last night and today, they're now left. And they're pushing further west, signaling the forward staging towards Diego Garcia. So analysts note that the Pacific is the only viable corridor for the B-2 stealth bombers en route to Diego Garcia. This is the only way for them to get there. So this is critical U.S. military outpost there in Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. There's no confirmed B-2 deployment yet, not that they would tell us. But the movement of so many refueling assets lately, well, this suggests big-time pre-positioning for long-range operations getting underway. And with regional tensions peaking from West Asia, with everything going on in the Middle East to the South China Sea, with them totally surrounding Taiwan, China, watch these tankers. Watch the skies. But I'm watching Iran, because that's where the news is going to come out of. And this is just part of today's news, because the heat is on. But someone asked me earlier about Saudi Arabia, and there's still some prophecies coming up. I think, here it is. There's still 4 unfulfilled Saudi Arabia Bible prophecies. 3 of them are all tied in, I believe, to the Psalm 83 war. And the 4th one is Gog and Magog, Ezekiel. Anyway, let's start with the first one. Number 1, flee, turn back, dwell in the depths, O inhabitants of Dedan. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will punish him. That's Jeremiah 49, verse 8. It's part of that whole scenario of the Jeremiah 49, 34 to 39 with Iran. I mean, even Jeremiah 49, verses 23 to 27 is discussing Damascus. Jeremiah 49, verse 2 is discussing how Amman, Jordan, is going to become a mound of dirt, like Damascus is going to become a ruinous heap. That's what I'm saying, guys. Bible is just so connecting right now. It's so wild. The second verse, Ezekiel 25, 12 to 14, Dedan shall fall by the sword. And when you continue reading in verses 15 to 17, you read about the eternal enmity, the everlasting hatred that the people of Hamas and the Palestinian people have against Israel. It's fascinating because it's all come together. Number 3, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be remembered no more. When they form a confederacy, they're coming. The tents of Edom, which is central and southern Jordan, actually it's southern Jordan there, because those formed in 1949 to 1951 after the 1948 Israeli War of Independence is when the tents of Edom began after the 1948 war, after Israel became a nation. But the Ishmaelites are always, always, always northern Saudi Arabia. But since they are going to fall by the sword, Ezekiel 25, 12 to 14, this is why they learn their lesson by the time the Gog-Magog war scenario breaks out. Number 4, Sheba, Dedan, the merchants of Tarshish, and all her young lions will say to you, have you come to take plunder and booty and spoil? They become the protesters. They learn their lesson by the time the Gog-Magog war happens, but not before that. And it's almost like when this Bushehr nuclear thing goes off and the radiation comes all the way across. You know what I mean? That's when I have a feeling that Saudi Arabia is going to start getting mad at Israel short term before they come to this peace agreement. And they're going to have to attack Israel because even if their oil infrastructure is taken out by Iran, oh man, MBS will be mad and he'll blame it all on Israel. And this could kick something off like that. I think if Saudi Arabia wants to join this alliance to go against Israel, you will find Jordan and Egypt following right behind them. Like lockstep. It's crazy. But that's what I'm saying, guys. The heat is on. Oh my goodness, it is all starting to come together. But you know what? Everything that's going on just points to one thing. The Lord Jesus Christ is coming so very soon. Guys, lift up your head. Your redemption draws nigh, but Jesus told us there. Matthew 13:19, or John 13:19 and John 14:29. Before and after John 14:1-6, Jesus tells us, I tell you these things before it happens, so that when it does happen, you will believe. And if anything, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ right now and you're not sure about this whole God thing in the Bible, Jesus tells us these things before they happen so that when it happens, you will believe. Well, these things are getting ready to happen. And if you're concerned or whatever about what I just said, rewind the video. I gave some verses, and there's a lot more in my videos and whatnot. But my point is, the Bible is coming alive. This everything with Jesus coming back for his people, that's us, that is 100% true. It's a promise by Jesus himself. John 14:1-6. Guys, I'm so excited. But anyway, let's keep this short. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for your prayers and everything you guys are doing. You guys amaze me. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I'll see you here, there, or in the air. Maranatha. Jesus Christ is coming so soon.